I was peeing and felt something slap my butt, and I looked down, and Toad visits man every night, so he starts making him tiny little hats. I found him outside, thought another landlord painted over this frog. Bro, please sit down. What are you doing? Please. Still amazed at how much my bag looked like a frog yesterday. I was feeling sad, so I googled frog and found this picture of a frog straight up suplexing another frog. I will never be sad again. When you take a photograph of a frog, at the moment it activates its hyperspace drive, the frog went into another dimension. He sits and ponders. A frog riding a beetle in Indonesia. My boyfriend spent an hour looking for this loud frog outside in a puddle, and when he finally caught him, I took a picture of both of them, and he literally said, "What kind of bird is this?" Imagine spending 40 hours perfecting your photorealistic frog, only to get crushed by this thing. 2 a.m. Someone is at your door. Notification. YouTube transcribed this frog's ribbits. Burn it up, burn it up. The frog has spoken. How much scarier would a frog be if it ran instead of hopped? You just hear plat, plat, plat coming towards you, and you look down and it's a frog going at full speed. So I found a door in a tree trunk, and it was full of a pile of money and a single frog, so you broke into his house. Whoever named frogs got it 100% right. Those things are frogs. Guess what? It's civilized frog time. I tried drawing a frog for the first time, and I don't know what went wrong. Suffering. Stop glamorizing the grind, and glamorize whatever this is. ASMR, using my frog telephone to call my divorced wife. Some frogs have heart-shaped pupils. This is vital and important information. Best weighted blanket for your anxiety. Loneliest frog in the world who spent a decade in isolation finds a mate, and I can't even get a text back. I don't answer my texts sometimes because my phone often gets seized by frogs. I made frog bread today, and serotonin is here. Every night, this majestic beast emerges from his cave to guard my apartment. Guard frog on duty. The tough life of a small frog in tall grass. Frogs with butterflies. They look like little frog fairies. Where are they? Pathetic frog birthday cake from supermarket. Leaves parents mortified. It was a disgrace. Personally, I like it. Frog orb. Damp. Round. Meh. Bro found an infinite food glitch. Evolution isn't real. Explain this, atheists. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. I found 2 frogs and made them a little house and made them get married. I don't know what religion this is, but I'm interested. Frog army. Teen breeds millions of frogs in his backyard. Unleashes them on his neighborhood. Giant tarantulas keep tiny frogs as pets so that the frog can protect the spider's egg from insects and the spider can protect the frog from predators. Zoo. Temporary closed after My Hero Academia fan attempts to mate with a frog. After a lot of rain here in Florida, these baby frogs appeared. They eerily all faced in the same direction. The ritual has begun. These are the DMs I get from guys. I just noticed your avatar looks like a frog trying to hold open an elevator. I just learned that Dutch scientists left a hamster wheel outside in 2014 and saw that tons of wild mice used it for fun, as well as frogs and slugs. All the creatures of the forest wanted a turn. Absolutely phenomenal. Love this feeling. You love shoving your feet in gross muddy grass. You like that. Are you a frog? Do you like frogs too then? Disgusting frog smasher. Earlier this year, a random number I don't recognize started sending me pictures of toads. European common spadefoot toad. True. Breaking news. Tiny toad sits on a banana. Typical. You spend an hour stacking toads, and not one of the miserable sods will smile for the camera. Honestly, I don't know why I bother. Wait, before I go, does anyone have the photo set of the frog that looks like this? I love frogs so much. I love it when they sit on their little hands tucked under themselves, and how they always look like pleased gentlemen, and never malicious or angry. I just really like a Dutch artist. Ooh, because path and toad are written and pronounced the same in Dutch. A road of toads. I trode on the toad road. This is the best distance to photograph toads from. A comparison of a male Pac-Man frog, left, and a female, right. Or perhaps a bowl of spaghetti hoops with guacamole. Madame Spaghetti. Concept, frog, but its entire head/face part is a gator. You mean something like this. Correct. In Costa Rica, they've discovered a frog that looks more like Kermit than any other frog. Attention, visible on an Iceland volcano camera right now is a happy lava frog. Someone has upset the lava frog. My friend asked me to paint this dramatically. Frog path, frog path. Imagine being stabbed with this. What a way to go. You're so quiet. Thanks, I'm a frog. If I was a frog, I would just always be saying, wow, that's just riveting. Please do tell me more. He's fat because he's full of love and he is running to give everybody a hug. In reality, frogs that are full of love are actually full of poison. Love arrives in many forms. I tried to make a frog out of icing, so we've had a lot of rain recently. I thought this was a dollop of wasabi on a hot dog for a solid 30 seconds. seconds. Tiny frog. This frog has absolutely no business being this tiny. Are you guys aware of the duck-billed tree frogs? Because I was not. Any other cool frogs that are being kept secret. So this guy was selling balloon frogs and I could not help myself. I just walked past a shop in Tokyo called Frogs that just sells frog stuff. My 60-year-old dad took photos of Toad and Mushroom on his flip phone to show me. This $5 ceramic frog is literally the best purchase I've ever made. This post was written by the frog. Are you aware about this? You better not be. Lately, the only emotion I've had is lazy frog. To get the sauce, you must defeat the sauce boss. Someone called the Toad that we have at work ugly and disgusting, and I'm so mad right now. The face of disgruntlement. Little frog mage is just trying to make his way around, leading 12 dwarven tadpoles, and you pick him up and disturb him. May I offer you a tiny frog in these troubled times? This man does the math and delivers your change. Thank you. The raw density of things to uncover in this picture. The feeling as your eyes fixate from one subject to the next. It hits you in waves. Oh, hey man, didn't see you there. How's it go? Excuse me, Jimmy. This still makes me laugh a lot. At 8:30 precisely, the frogs beyond the hills scream. I did not mean to make this so ominous. I meant literally at 8:30 every day from spring to autumn. Frogs in the woods over yonder hills will yell in unison, usually for about 20 to 30 minutes. That didn't really make it less ominous. Like if you're proud of him. 'Tis the most noble amphibian of Middle Earth. I shall bestow you thy name of Sir Froggy Frog of the great ponds. Frogs are hilarious. I mean, they're mostly just a mouth, but with just enough leg to throw the mouth at food. Nobody talk to me. I'm thinking about frogs. What if I talk to you about frogs? Thin fucking ice. Should I let her in? Yes. Look at him. He brings me the serotonin I so desperately need. Beep beep. Special delivery. I tried to move this ceramic frog in my flower pot today and got the surprise of a lifetime. Toad sat and did nothing. Frog sat with him. Me and my best friend hanging out. Inside us all live two small frogs. Frogs in love. Got a blast. Vietnam has moss frogs. They live in moss. They are cute as hell. This kid hopped right into my shoe and proceeded to angrily sing to me when I picked it up. Not only did the last people to rent this Airbnb leave a whole bottle of vodka, they also left this with us. Idiot frog walks into a wall like the stupid amphibian he is. Your crimes are unknown. The Frog Council sits in judgment. They discovered a new frog. Girls be like iOS 14, this, that. Shut up. New frog just dropped. Medieval frog defending his child from fire skeleton. Or telekinetic frog plays local man who doesn't understand personal space. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? What's a non-believer to a poisonous dart frog? What's a poisonous dart frog to a king? What's a poisonous dart frog to a second poisonous dart frog? A friend. Frog chair. Okay, this is so cute. Frog riding, frog riding, frog riding, frog. Anon, where is the frog? Anon, we need the frog, Anon. The frog. Beefiest frog I've ever seen taking a nap. We're holding hands. Why don't you touch me like that? Let's replace all statues with frogs. Are you okay? You've barely touched your frog, Sushi. If you think frogs are scary and ugly, I hope this photo changes your mind. Why was the pharaoh so afraid of the plague of frogs? Honestly, sounds like a dream to me. In nature, poisonous creatures will often develop bright colors to warn others of their toxicity. Checked the mailbox, found someone had moved in. I assume he is excited to receive the beetles he ordered online. The council has agreed to protect the little frog at all costs. Everybody shut up and look at these vegetable frogs riding a vegetable bus. What episode of Naruto is this? Those of you without your glasses on may be asking, why are there fruit gummies on this leaf? The answer, these are some absolutely stunning glass frogs. You can see straight through these little dudes' skin. A frog tree in Jember, Indonesia, shelters from the rain under a leaf. This amphibian reportedly held the leaf for 30 minutes before the storm passed. He looks so done with the rain. Meep meep, please excuse. It's like you got him from a very small Home Depot. Frog bread, success. Losing my mind over this frog teapot my best friend gave me. I've never seen a more perfect cake. If I don't get a cake that looks exactly like this for my birthday, then I won't get older. I simply refuse. The Indian purple frog is basically what would happen if a frog and a mole got together, and that's what's keeping me going, you guys. A frog sitting on the dock of a bay like a human. I feel like Frog and Toad is an untapped goldmine of potential memes. I mean, like, look at this pic alone. When you're reading a post and you don't know which side you're supposed to be taking. Sorry, my car is such a mess. You can just toss those in the bag. Just deactivate your blog if you're anti-frogs. If you cannot handle frogs doing their little skippity doodle doo-doo down the pond, then you are not ready for the internet yet. The best way to draw a frog is to give it as few frog qualities as possible. Just enough that it barely registers as a frog. Reach within to your local bog and you may find a friend, and boy, disturb disturbing my afternoon nap. I'm sorry, sir. Put me back of sleep. Frog and cranberries. It must be full. Frog and cranberries. It must be full. Today, I saw a leaf that looked like a frog, and I was like, haha, nice. Then it hopped because it was a frog, and I started crying because life is really full of everyday miracles, including, but not limited to, experiencing frogs. Security called me at work today and told me they saw me outside chasing a frog around on the security cameras. I wasn't in trouble. They just wanted to let me know they saw me. I didn't catch him. Say what you will, but nothing in cartoons will ever beat this frog. Fashionable. Me on a Friday night. The frog living in Tom Holland's mouth is valid. Frog in Tom Holland's mouth. Thank you. Wild pickles. Bumpy boys. Wow, so this is what an avocado farm looks like. When someone I admire gives me a genuine compliment. To make stuffed animal toads, I present to you the only thing you're allowed to propose me with. There are 5 frogs staring at me right now, but only one of them can be America's next top model. Ever since Pepe the Frog was labeled as a hate symbol, the violence against frog have increased dramatically. This must stop. You watch now. Fat frog having spaghetti. Today's frog is that little dude from Spirited Away. Frog that looks like cheese on a burger. Ha, I knew cheese on burger frog would win you over. You were using him. I hate you. Tiny frog in a tiny bucket. I don't know anything, but here's a frog with a crown. I want to live a life of being puffed up and perpetually saying, woo. The buckles on this old chest look like a frog riding a motorcycle hanging on for dear life. Shh, the council is meeting. Frog wicker storage from Home Depot. They're just having a laugh together. Business proposal. You receive frog pictures. I receive butt pics. I am shaking your hand right now. Deal. Petition to bring these bins back. One day you're young, the next day you're sitting at the edge of your bed. Like, this taxidermy was found inside a late 19th century French mansion, which has been sealed for more than 100 years. Good to know people were just as weird before the incident. There is a species of frog in Alaska that freezes during the winter, and while frozen, the frog stops breathing. Its heart stops beating. Its palms are sweat, which turns me into a frog. Now suffer. Me, chilling on a leaf. Wait, experiencing happiness for the first time in my life. Wait, no, dress for the job you want. Interviewer, what do you bring to the table? In my last job, I brought a lot of enthusiasm. No, what did you just put on my desk? You mean my toad? Very important announcement. Tiny frogs. Turns out the world's greatest drawing of a frog was done in 1790. I'm going to take my frog to the old pond. You are walking through the woods on a cool day. Just up ahead, you see this man and his young apprentice. He politely asks you if you would be interested in any of his wares. Everyone be quiet and look at my frog. Oh, to be a frog pearl. He's a little casual, a little dapper, and a lot of croak. He looks like if the inside of a raspberry toasted I don't know what that is. You kiss a frog and it turns into a clown. Not a human clown, just a little froggy clown. He's just a little funny man. If we were both frogs, would you sit on a lily pad with me? A toad, hitting the sweet spot. Frog tea set with tadpole mugs. I just think that if I had this, I would never have another problem for the rest of my life. Wrong. Egg, when I first got him, versus now. Do not let the sadness of the swamp get to you. You have to try. You are my friend, and I love you. Thank you, frog. Okay, so I'm terrible at cakes, but decided to have some fun tonight. I cannot stop laughing at my attempt at the frog cakes. Bro, can you just drop Dying Light too? Not yet, but I can drop the best frog picture I've ever seen. I'm wearing this pudding and I think it's alive. I'm so angry. There was once a toad constellation, but it was declared obsolete. There is a small ceramic frog where my brain should be. Okay, but the Peppa Pig frog, what about it? Box for idiot frogs. This frog looks like an avocado that did not get picked because it looks too ripe, but is actually perfect on the inside. I like frogs. Me too. Frog bags. OMG, he's here. He's so cute. Is he single? I think frogs are the best animals because they go boing and ribbit. Amphibians 280 million years ago. I am a powerful apex predator that terrorizes land and sea. Amphibians now. pH too high. What is a group of frogs called? A group of frogs is called an army. My attempts at drawing frogs. You guys just see something vaguely frog-like and hit like, huh? When I see a frog, it takes a hop away from me. It's like, what the fuck, man? Today, my nephew, who recently decided that he's a wizard, came around my house and showed me his book of spells, a folded A4 piece of paper. I looked at it, expecting to see spells to turn people into frogs and to make you fly, but the only thing he had written was a spell to make people smile, and I think he must be a wizard because I smiled pretty big. This picture was taken by a photographer. He says, "This is a Cuban tree frog on a tree in my backyard in southern Florida. How and why he ate this light is a mystery." It should be noted that at the time I was taking this photo, I thought this frog was dead, having cooked himself from the inside. I'm happy to say I was wrong. After a few shots, he adjusted his position, so after I was finished taking photos of him, I pulled the light out of his mouth, and he was fine. Actually, I might be crazy, but I don't think he was very happy when I took his light away.